Another call from Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer to leave, this time from the hedge fund heavyweight David Einhorn. He had a busy day. He's also apparently going to buy a part of the Mets. So will removing Ballmer solve the problems at Microsoft? And when should a board consider letting its leader go? Let's bring in an all-star panel. We've got former Medtronic chairman and CEO Bill George. He's also on a couple of big corporate boards. We'll mention that in a minute. Deborah Germain, managing partner at executive search firm CT Partners. She specializes in technology. And we also have Jeff Sonnenfeld, our friend and senior associate dean at the Yale School of Management and a CNBC contributor. So Bill and Jeff, we've got Harvard, we've got Yale, and Deborah, we've got Boston. We're in good play. We're in good shape here. Let me begin with you, Deborah. You've been on the inside of boards. You've worked with them on searches at companies like HP. When does a board know it's time to go to that CEO and say, it's time to leave?
You know, sadly, Tyler, often they don't know. There's there's a rush to judgment. You've seen examples. HP happened to be a good one. Lou Platt, and they needed to work out a plan, but Carly Fiorina wasn't it. It was way too hasty there. Take a look at the disaster of Motorola. Their worst enemy was their own board in pushing out Chris Galvin way too soon. Ed Zander was not the answer to the solution there. You know, you go right around the horn. David Neilman at JetBlue, their brilliant founder, that was a disaster. Mickey Drexler at the Gap. Right. These boards often think that's the easy solution. Now, sometimes they wait too long, like Tony Hayward, you know, is at BP, or Lord Brown, they let them stay on too long. Is the right answer is to have some criteria. Are they listening? Are they learning? Some great board members and some great CEOs can turn around their own companies. Michael Dell, his profits have tripled over the last year.
So Deborah, since you answered that first one, I'm going to turn to Jeff now. That was actually for Deborah. Deborah, let me go to you and see if you can top Jeff on that.
But, you know, I think Jeff raised a very important point. It's incumbent upon the board to have a very good understanding of not only what the company, what the emerging trends are, what is the company direction, and who is the talent inside the firm as well, because your best CEO successor could well come from inside. So let's not forget about the great talent that hopefully they've been developing throughout the years.
Right. Perfect segue, Deborah, and Bill, maybe you can answer this question for us. As we look at some of the people who have left Microsoft, a lot of people say it's been a revolving door. We have Mr. Allard, we have Robbie Bach has left as well, Ray Ozzie. Those are just a few of the names that we bring up. But, you know, Bill, what is that a sign of? Is it a sign of their inability to innovate at Microsoft? Better opportunity elsewhere? And net, given the fact that Microsoft has been dead money for 10 years, basically, should Mr. Ballmer leave?
Well, let me say, I was at Microsoft for 3 days last week, had a chance to interact with Steve, hear his plans, came away very positive. He's spending $10 billion this year in research. I think, to be very candid, I think Jeff got it right. It'd be absolutely a disaster to go outside the company and find someone, unless you want to revisit Apple all over again with 5 failed CEOs until Jobs came back, or Hewlett-Packard. Maybe they could bring back Herter or Fiorina to Microsoft. I mean, come on, it isn't going to work. I think Steve, the board, if I were on the board, I'd be saying to Steve, you've been there a decade, let's develop succession, let's get those people in line from inside, not from outside. Today, about 85% of the CEOs are coming from inside, not outside. So we got away from this rock star CEO stuff, which hurts so many companies.
So you were out there, Bill. I mean, is there a likely candidate that he should groom at this point inside Microsoft, or not yet?
I'm not sure enough to make a call on that one, although I would trust the board a lot more than I would David Einhorn to make that call. Maybe David would be better off managing the Mets, because he probably knows more about baseball and running high-tech companies.
If you've held the stock, Jeff, I'll put this to you. If you've held the stock, we had a fund manager on the other day, and he said basically the reason he's holding Microsoft, and it's one of his top holdings for a number of years, is because he's hopeful that something will happen. But he has to explain to his investors why he's held dead money for 10 years. Jeff?
So you gave me the hard one because I stole Deb's question. But
you got it, buddy. Thanks, Jeff.
You know, because I think this is one question where the three of us on the panel would also agree. Is sadly we agree that it's we think we shouldn't get caught up in this messianic rush to the outside for some savior. But you can't deny the incumbent has some problems right now. But they're problems shared by the board and frankly shared by his predecessor. You know, Bill Gates didn't call every one of them just right. They can work through this. I think that, as Bill said, being out there last week, I wasn't there. I've lost my invitation the last year for some reason, Bill. Probably something I said on this show. That I would like to hear what Ballmer's coherent strategy is, because I do think some people are afraid that we see some reactive deals. But the Web TV deal, you know, that was, and MSNBC, that was Bill Gates. Quantive, you know, way overpaying perhaps for something that really didn't move the dime for advertising because they failed to get the DoubleClick deal. But they are doing a lot of things right. And you look at the 5 business units; they're all very strong, throwing off, you know, what $50 billion of cash right there right now. Their revenues are up quite a bit over last year.
But I think people would say, Jeff, and I want to turn back to Deborah here, that they haven't been notably innovative. There isn't a new product, apart from Xbox, which has been a scene stealer in the way that some other innovators have done. Let me turn to you, Deborah, and take you out in the ocean and leave you there. And that is to ask you this. If you were summoned by Microsoft to head up an executive search for that company, how would you go about it, number one? And number two, would you be advising them, here's the kind of person you need? You need an Ellison type. You need a Hurd type. You need an Immel type. You need this. Well, how would you do it?
Oh, well, first and foremost, it really is incumbent upon the board. You know, I keep coming back to that, but the board should have a good understanding of where what's the direction of the company going forward. And as a result of that, it will determine, do you need completely different set of skills and behavioral attributes and knowledge than you had in the predecessor. And so that said, do you want someone who has a better pulse or has a truly strong pulse on emerging technologies and business trends, and, you know, someone who has a better sense of cloud and e-everything and social, and so it's really
sort of what they want. It's what the board tells you they want, is what I'm hearing you say. We have to leave it there, but Bill, I want to go back to you.
Tyler? Oh, go ahead.
Bill, one quick question for you. You left as the CEO at Medtronic. How did you know it was time to leave?
And he was a rock star.
How did you know,
I actually set my timetable as a decade when I started. But Tyler, you asked a very important question. I'd like a little deeper on that. I'll do it quickly. But you asked about innovation. That's key to Microsoft. And I think they got caught up early in the decade with trying to integrate everything to Office and Windows. I think now they're separating things out. I think the Skype deal has great potential. I think Xbox does. About 40% of the revenues come from outside Office and Windows. And what I would do if I were they is I would set up a series of innovation teams, take those totally separate from product development, and spend the money to get a lot of new things to market. We used to say at Medtronic, ready, fire, aim. Get in the marketplace. You can improve it when you get there. And I think you'll see them do that to take advantage of a lot more of these innovative ideas coming.
To build a business,
okay, we got to go, guys.
We got to leave it there, gentlemen and lady. Thank you very much. Good conversation. We appreciate your being with us.